Saving and Loan Association. The Saving and the Loan Association became a strong force in the early 20th century through the assistant people with the home ownership through the mortgage lending and further assistant their member with the basic saving and investing outlets typically through the passbook saving accounts and term certificates of the deposit. The earliest mortgage were not offered by the banks but by insurance companies, and they differed greatly from the mortgage or a home loan that is familiar today. Most early mortgage were short term with some kind of the balloon payments at the end of the term, or they were interested only loans with did not pay anything toward the principal of the loan with each payment. As such, many peoples were either perpetual in debt in a continuous cycle of the refining or their home purchase, or they lost their home through the foreclosure when they were unable to make the balloon payment at the end of the term of the debt loan. The U.S. Congress passed the Federal Home Loan Bank Act 1932 during the Great Depression. It established the Federal Home Loan Banks and associated Federal Home Loan Banks board to assist other banks in the providing the funding to offer a long-term amortized loan for the home purchase. The idea was to get the bank involved in the lending and not insurance companies, and to provide the realistic loans which people could repay and gain full ownership of their home. Saving and Loan Association sprang up all across the United States because there was low-cost funding available through the Federal Home Loan Banks for the purpose of the mortgage lending. New Deal era reforms. During the 1930s, the US and the rest of the world experienced a severe economic contradiction that is now called the Great Depression. In the US, during the height of the Great Depression, the official unemployment rate was 25% and the stock market had declined 75% since 1929. Banks runs were common because there wasn't insurance or a deposit at the bank. Banks kept only on a fraction of the deposit in reserves, and customers ran the risk of losing the money for that they had deposited if their bank failed. By the beginning of the 1933, the banking system in the United States had effectively ceased to function. The Income Roosevelt administration and the Income Congress took immediately steps to pass legislation to respond to the Great Depression. Roosevelt entered office with the enormous political capital. Americans of all political persuasions were demanding immediate action, and the Roosevelt response with a remarkable series of new programs in the first 100 days of the administration, in which he met with the Congress for 100 days. During these 100 days of lawmaking, Congress granting every request, Roosevelt asked and passed a few programs such as the FDIC to insure banks' accounts that he opposed. A major component of Roosevelt's New Deal was the reform of the national banking system. With this strident language, Roosevelt took credit for the destroying the bankers he illegal had caused the debacle on a March वहाँ जाके बात कर ले. On March 4, 1933, in his first inaugural address, he proclaimed practices of the unscrupulous money changing standards indicated in the court of the public opinion rejected by the hearts of the minds and the men, and the money changers have fled from their high seats in the temple of our civilization.